Okay, so now we're going to start to do our all-in-one facing. Our all-in-one facing is going to be 5 centimetres wide. Around the front here, from our neckline, 5 centimetres up. We're going to also, this is our bust point. We never want a facing line to go straight through the middle of our bust point. And that doesn't matter whether you're male or female, the same rule applies. We want to always make sure we've got at least 2 centimetres clearance around the bust point. So we're going to come 5 centimetres up, round it across, and then 5 centimetres around. Okay. So by the miracle of Christmas, my ruler, 5 centimetres wide, and you'll notice that I'm making this line follow my armhole, and I'm going to make it follow my neckline from the centre front. And we'll go straight through the middle of my gape darts. Okay, so I've made it come up following that, parallel 5 centimetres. And now I can just arc it the other way because I'm trying to get clearance around my bust point. At least 2 centimetres away from my bust point. Now that I've arced it the other way, I can rub back what's not right. So 5 centimetres, 5 centimetres, as long as I've got 2 centimetres clearance from my bust point, 5 centimetres following my armhole, and then arc it the other way. I want you to do your front facing for me for a start, please. Front facing for a start. 5 centimetres wide. 5 centimetres wide. Okay, what we're looking at before we do our back is, have a look at this garment lying flat on the table here. If I did a 5 centimetre wide facing at the top, what do you think I would see? If I did it, I would see the overlocking coming through here all the way through. On the coat hanger appeal as well, I would see that on my coat hanger. Not a good look. Aesthetically wise, functionality, not a problem with it sitting that high, but people are very easily deceived by visual. So if you had a garment hanging in store that had a facing that wasn't showing and one hanging in store that was showing, people would actually buy this one where you couldn't see the facing line. Even though the fit on the other one might be better, the deceptiveness of the visual of the coat hanger appeal tricks them every time. So we want to make sure that we do our facing at the back long enough to cover how deep our neckline is. Okay, so it's all relative to how deep our front line. If our front neckline is deeper, then we want to make sure that we cover that up. So we're going to measure from our centre back neckline, our new centre back neckline. We're going to measure down 12 centimetres and square that across to start off our facing. And at that underarm, we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did before. We're going to do a 5 centimetre wide, but it's going to follow the shape of our armhole.
But Tina, the neckline was 12.5.
We've already dropped it 9 centimetres.
Oh yeah, of course, sorry.
And then it's another 12.
Yeah.
12 would give you way good clearance. And the reason why I'm doing 12 too is because it'll make it a smoother shape through that under. So I've gone up 5 and I've come squared across on my 12, and now I'm just by hand, I'm just smoothing that line so it's a nice smooth line. Now the front rule doesn't apply in the sense that there's no clearance issues. So you could actually go through the middle of your dart value, it doesn't matter if you're lower, with a lower neckline, makes no difference. Seriously, my pencil is bad today. So just smoothing through. But I don't want a straight line. I want it to follow 5 centimetres, follow up that armhole a little bit, right angle across, and then smooth it through. So it's a nice smooth line. But that'll give you plenty of clearance now for the centre back so that you won't see it from the front. So that's a print all-in-one facing tick. Centre back invisible zip, 18 centimetres below my waist. That's an easy one for me to flick up and draw in. My back waist down 18. Well, what do I know about my block? My block is 20 centimetres below my waist. So if I know this line, this hip line here, where I've drawn my edge of my block, is 20 centimetres, how much do I have to measure up, do you reckon? 2 centimetres and put in a notch? Absolutely. I'm just going to write here zip notch. That's my zip notch. 2 centimetres up from that end of that block. Because that block is 20 centimetres below my waist. So I'm just measuring the other way, just because we know that about our block. Our block is 20 centimetres below my waist, so why measure down when I can measure up? So we can tick that one now. So what's the next one? That's it. Is that all that's done? I think we're done. Okay, so the lucky last thing we're going to do, now that we've done that, is check. Now, some of us accidentally didn't leave enough space. I'm just going to cut in between. I'm cutting in between. Why do you think I'm cutting in between, people? Because what are we going to check? What do we need to check? Everywhere. Yep, with the hems and also the side seams. Does my front and back side seam match? So I've split him up the middle so I can check. If you have happened to accidentally not have overlapped your pattern because you didn't save enough fabric, you're going to have to measure. So what you do is you get out a tape measure from your new underarm all the way down the side seam to the hem. You get out and you then measure that and write that measurement down. Then you measure your back from there to there. Don't include the dart value, jump over, add all of that to that one and see if they're the same. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to put the two on top of each other. So I'm leaving my front down on the table. I'm just going to give him a haircut because my hem is in the way. Okay, so I'm putting my front down on the table. I'm then facing right sides together. I'm facing my two masters together. And I am seeing that they match. I'm matching the underarm point. Walking it down to my dart. Putting in a mark where my dart is. Jumping over my dart. Keep on walking to see if my waist notch matches. If my waist not matches, that's good. And then I can pivot it all the way down to my hem to make sure my hems match. See how on the screen those two lines are different? That's not matching. What they should be matching is perfectly like that. If they are matching like that, you need to correct one and fix one to make sure they match the same. So you've just walked through your side seams to make sure that they match. I start with my underarm seam up here. Make sure you're starting with your new underarm and not your old one. If you've got an old underarm and you're accidentally measuring that, put two hashy lines through what's old so you clearly can see what's old and new. Start from your new underarm, measure down to your dart, put a little mark. Jump over that dart because your dart gets stitched together or gets folded together. Keep walking down that side seam till you get a waist notch. Those two waist notches like mine should be perfectly on top of each other. If I separate out my waist notches, you can see that now they're not on top of each other, but they should be. If they're not, you need to move one and remark it. Then I check all the way down to my hem to make sure the shapes will be different, but the length should be the same. Shape will be different because one's a front and one's a back. You've got different shapes on the front. Fronts have got your bust, back's got your butt. So, and it's only the side seams that we're walking through, guys. Do not walk centre front and centre back through because your centre front and your centre back never meet. Never ever meet because you've got a body in between. So your centre front and centre back never meet, only your side seams meet.
Those match? Or have you got many?
I walked there,
Yeah.
jumped over,
Yep,
walked down,
match.
that matches,
Yep.
that's right. Pivot it because they're not the same shape,
Yep.
but when I walked down there,
Yeah.
they are the same length.
And do you want them to be in the same? Because mine, I think my front was maybe.
That doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
should be
matter?
close, but doesn't matter if it's not exactly the same. As long as the length is the same.
Okay.
Shapes will be different, lengths will be the same. Okay, while we're here, we can also do a bit of a quick check.
Sorry. Can I do? I will catch up and I will see them.
Okay, we're going to do a quick check. We're going to line up our shoulder seams together to make sure my front and my back shoulder are different. Oh, look at this now. Now we've got discrepancy. Put that under the camera so you, yeah, enjoy. Okay, I'm putting these two together, but as I put my two together, I can straight away see my front neckline's matching, but as I go along my shoulder, my back and front armhole don't start in the same spot. So I need to decide what I'm going to change. I'm actually going to change my back neck. So I'm going to match up my armholes instead here, walk them along. Neckline is so not matching. I'm going to draw in my new position for my back neckline, which is going to be there. Now I'm going to flip that over. I can see that mark I've made. I'm going to draw in a whole new neckline. Rub out my old one and draw in a whole new one. They're not in this right spot, rub out and fix it. You will need to. Grab my Frenchie, draw in a whole new neckline. So I've just checked my shoulder strap. Does my front shoulder strap match my back shoulder strap? That's what I've just checked. And mine ain't, people. Seriously ain't. So I'm fixing it. Seriously ain't matching. I'm fixing it to make sure they do. I just want lay them together like this on top of each other, matching my new armhole with my new neckline, and now they match perfectly. It used to be out here.
Oh yeah, I see
They were
that.
wrong, but now they're matching perfectly.
Cool.
And if it doesn't match, you need to move one, people. You seriously need to move it so that they do.
Could I get some advice, please?
Yeah. I think I better stop that.
Stop this.